Well, that was a lot more work than I expected. It didn't sit well with me. It honestly didn't sit well with me. I kept on thinking about today at work, and I wanted to try a few things, and I had the PDF on my laptop, and I was glancing at it occasionally, thinking what I could possibly do to get this thing to be exactly the way I wanted to, which is having landing gear, have it fold up exactly like the 928. And my buddy Chris, when we were first talking about this, he said, basically, I can't remember the exact quote, but the inference was to lose two of the struts in the back. So let's just show you that really quick. So if you lose two of the struts in the back, because you got, now you could go into your own collection and you can grab the 2x3 and another 2x3 here, and then you would have enough room to have both struts on there. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to remain exactly all the pieces that were in the set, the 10497. So the front strut has exactly, doing this with one hand is fun, both struts, obviously you can see. The back landing pads only have the one, which fits into where that 4x6 plate is. And so that allows the back landing pads to be pushed back, allows you to keep this 4x8 plate in the middle, which is a good structural integrity spot to keep everything together. Now, there are absolutely no Technic beams going from front to back, or none. The Technic beams stop right there that are holding the front landing gear in, because, of course, the Technic gear will be right there, and because it can't be over here. So that's gone. So the structural stability is entirely with the top. Well, I can't say that, the edge pieces, but what I did in here was you have this S, whatever you want, this fancy modified brick here. It's exactly the same spot it was. And so I got a 1x6 that goes back here, and then this goes to the front. So there is integrity, studs connecting the back to the front, even inside. So that worked for me. So now the landing gear folds up perfectly well. And what happened was I was trying this 3 hours ago, and I got the landing gear to work perfectly well inside, but I could not, and it was bothering me immensely. I could not get the cockpit or the stability from front to back. It was a little shaky. It's a lot better now, and I got my cockpit. I got my entire cockpit the way I wanted it, and I was really impressed with that. And again, the guy sits right at the bottom. He sits right on top of that 4x8 plate right there, and you close it. So it's exactly the way I had it before. Chris said move him a stud back. I think he mentioned that in one of his videos. I don't know how to do that because the landing gear's in the way. The landing gear is right behind this little 1x2 cheese slope. That's where the landing gears, so I can't move this guy back. And he said maybe a few plates up. I tried a few things. I did like when I originally built this thing, and I fixed the interior of the cockpit, and I like him right in the middle. I mean, I know that Buzz is all the way at the back. I know that most spaceships, they're right at the back, but I like him in the middle. I think he looks cool in the middle. But anyway, I got the full cockpit the way I wanted it. I'm trying to get this guy up again with one hand. Come on, there we go. With my dashboard, that is again inspired by Chris. Thanks, Chris. Steering wheel, the back end, all the original pieces, and so I honestly am very extremely happy now because that was the one thing that I really loved about my build earlier was my cockpit design. I think it was fantastic. And so I wanted to keep that, and I had that when I had the original landing gear that didn't fold all the way in. But now I have it folded in, and I got to keep that. So much changes through this top part. Even the structural stability, what I had to do is instead of having that little, having the two 3x6 wing plates up here, I put this guy up here first, and then the 3x6 is here, because then now that spans that seam, because there is no Technic joining between this piece and this piece, right? There isn't, because there's nothing there to join to. So these two wing plates and the interior are completely segmented. And since I had to use the 1x2 Technic bricks here for the landing gear, I can't have that come up here. So there's no seam, or there's no joint between here to here, or in the mid layer, the inside layer, because the 1x2 Technic bricks are there. So so now the wing plates span that. So I'm happy. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for Canada, as Opa used to say. And this stayed all the same. So just by moving the wing plates up here and then putting a small one at the front. So a few other things changed on the wings on the top. So it's not identical to the way the instructions go. There's a lot more changes made structurally, obviously. This back piece is completely identical the way I had it before, and with this guy, you know, so that still remains the same. But all the hold-ons, from the wing plates to the edges, that's all identical. So this outside perimeter is identical to the instructions. But I'm going to take that out again, because I just want to show you the bottom again, just in case you're, you know, wanting to do this yourself. I also used the red 2x2s, again, just like they do it in the other instructions, to stop this thing from whatever. And I did it on this side too. This is, again, the problem with having just one instead of two struts. But again, it sits just fine, so I can't complain about that at all. The struts, because of course I moved them 2 studs back, are 2 studs back now. So it's a longer landing base area, so it's a lot more stable, but it was pretty stable before. I think that's perfectly acceptable. As I said, the interior is completely redesigned. This whole area all the way down to here is completely redesigned inside, but it works for me. There is no 1x2 gray, so of course I put the trans red there, and the trans red here on top of the 1x2 Technic bricks. I think it's a 10, maybe it's a 12. The white, what's the black one, is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, so they're 10s. 1x10s. The white remains exactly the same as it was in the instructions, I believe. But I just put the 1x2, and then I put a blue friction peg to go from the strut through the blue into the white. So that's very, very stable. This area, like you can see right inside the cockpit, that slope, the 2x2 slope with the stripes on it is right there, because again, I can't cover that over. Well, maybe I could, but I don't care. It's inside the landing bay area. Do I actually have a 1x2? I do not actually have a 1x2 plate anymore, so I'm not even gonna worry about that. I'm really not. So this folds down, that folds down, and that folds down already, and this looks perfectly well. So now I'm actually quote-unquote finished. Why did that pop out? It's not a pop. It broke right off. Oh, there we go. So it's supposed to be this way. I was not comfortable until now with this build, and now that I have the structural support from front to back, side to side, my landing pads fold right up into the ship. Again, inspired by Chris. I'm not sure if this is the same solution that he had. I was originally going to take out the one landing strut, but I didn't want to. I wanted to see if I could do it without that. But it turns out that's not the case after all this work. The bottom doesn't look too shabby. I'm happy with that. The top looks exactly like it should for me. Again, just looking at it from a distance, it looks exactly like the instructions, except we know the interior is different because the steering wheel's not laying on top of the spaceman. We don't want that. And the antenna is slightly different. Although, because I have this spare piece now, this is a spare now, I can put the antenna right back to original specifications. I'm not going to, because honest to goodness, this is I like this better. And as I said, the octagon 2x2, it's one of my favorite pieces. I used it a lot in the layout, in my space layout. So, and I think this looks more, I don't want to say greebled, because I'm not a big, you know, I love greebling, but I'm not good at it. But I think this looks a lot better like an antenna array than the original. And it doesn't tip over, because of course, when it's just on the friction peg and the Technic piece here, it could tilt. And I don't like that. So this is fine. And the robot can still go in here. Take the coffee cup out of the robot's hand. The robot can still go in here and help fly the ship. So, you know, in the end, I'm very happy. I honestly, and I keep on saying this, I think this is done. I think I'm not going to revisit this. Now I got everything I wanted. So I probably won't revisit this. I got it exactly the way I want it, which is completely retractable landing gear, the cockpit the way I want it, and I want it to look exactly the same as it did in the instructions. So, well, not exactly, but it is good with my modifications. Oops, this is the one. I mean, I love these things. I mentioned that. I love the thrusters, but they don't stay where they're supposed to stay when you touch them. Nothing else I want to do to this thing. I'm going to look around to see what other people have done. I know what Chris did. I think I know what Mark did. So I'm going to be looking at other people's builds to see how they did it. I have some quote-unquote detailed pictures of the build on my Flickr channel, as well as my Facebook. They're same pictures, so if you just go to my Flickr, Sparky1701 on Flickr, you can see some pictures of the interior details of this thing. And the various iterations that I did to get here. So don't waste your time, just go to the last one, which is this one. But they're all in there. So you can see my method to my madness. And I'm happy now. The only quote-unquote deficiency is only one strut on the back landing gears. That's a deficiency I'm more than willing to overlook. It really is. I'd rather have what I have here than than two struts, because it seems to be working just fine with one. So that's it. That's all. I'm going to go to bed now. I want everybody to stay safe. I want everybody to take care. Be kind to your neighbors if you can. If you can't, write a book about it. That's a new one. I'm boring you guys with that stuff. So everybody take care, and I will talk to you soon.